Yeah, what up, what's going on, man? Salute to everybody that's tuning into the channel. It's your boy Acito, man. I wanted to talk about an interview that I finally got a chance to sit down and watch. I've been seeing clips of this going viral for like the past week now. Um, Shout out to Ray Daniels, you know what I'm saying? He has a podcast and a YouTube channel. Um, where he does a lot of great interviews. I saw the Shy Money XL interview. I saw the Bag Fuel interview. He's had a couple of dope moments on the show. And shout out to his co-host. I forgot her name. Beautiful sister from Harlem. I follow her on Instagram. She does a lot of like recap of like current events and things of that nature. Pardon me if I can't remember your name. But they interviewed Dame Dash. Okay. Now, I will say this, Dame gets a lot of flack, when he goes on these media runs and does like these interviews, because primarily what he's trying to do is promote, his brands and whatever he's selling currently at the moment, whether it's, a new subscription based platform, sneakers, clothes, whatever are Dame divels and dabbles in a lot of different things. He always preaches entrepreneurship, being a boss, being a leader, taking risks, taking chances, being innovators. That's a lot of energy that I get from Dame. Dame can be very vocal, and I think a lot of times his tone can really deteriorate people from getting the overall message. You know what I'm saying? He kind of reminds me of like my pops, because my pops used to be like that when we were kids coming up. Even though my dad used to come off very harsh with a real, strong delivery and maybe a real like slick tone when he would talk to us. But if you kind of like brush that aside, there's a lot of jewels and a lot of meaning behind what he's saying. You know what I mean? So when I hear, Dame talk and I hear people kind of, toot their face up at him, I mean, I can understand both sides of the coin, but this interview here, I felt like in the beginning stages of it, he dropped a lot of jewels. There was a guy on the couch that he was challenged, that was trying to challenge Dame, but Dame was also making, a really great examples with going back and forth with him. And also, you know what I'm saying, Ray, also would try to combat Dame on certain topics and things. But Dame, one thing I did see from Dame, they would say, yo, do you feel bad or would you take accountability? And he would kind of come back at them like, well, what accountability? What did I do? And they would go to examples of things that they may have heard or videos like we all saw on the internet, but a lot of those situations didn't have full context. Like, for example, the notorious video of Dame screaming on the execs in the office, in the Def Jam office, because they held a private meeting about Jay, where he felt it was torturous interference because you can't have a meeting about my artist and I'm not present in the room. That's torturous interference. But little did he not know, Jay is the one that orchestrated the meeting, even though Dame still should have been involved in it. And at the same time, too, Dame added a little context behind that famous clip. Dame had just came from burying one of his close friends. He literally just saw the man in a casket. And he felt they took it upon themselves to have the meeting during that time where he pretty much was on leave and wasn't around in the office. And I guess he got wind of it and, called choke no joke to run up in the office with the camera. So that's I've never heard Dame really explain, what I'm saying, his reasoning behind doing that and why he felt they did that, to him. But I thought that was very intriguing. But in this interview, he broke down, the importance of podcasts, talking about the CPMs, the click per million, and how that really means click per thousand, and the significance of, the ads, and, just understanding the podcast game. That's something that I'm really trying to learn and just get a real consistent, model behind creating my content. And he was really like, dropping a lot of gems, just about the podcast space and the importance of just having your own platform and, having access to your own analytics. When you sign, one of the things that he said, when these artists sign like a lot of these distribution deals with like Spotify, Apple Music, or like me doing, a distribution deal with a platform like Buzzsprout or something like that, we're giving up a lot of rights and a lot of, money on the table by, signing to these platforms. Regardless, we may think we're independent, but we're really not independent. We may make 20, we'll get $1 and they keep 19. That was like how he was pretty much presenting it to us. And he's like, yo, I kind of went through a lot of hurdles and I figured out how to do it. And he's like, my goal is to teach the next generation how to properly do this. And he has a new platform called American New. Basically, it's a subscription service, but it's a free app that you can download on your phone. And I guess this is where all his content is. Anytime he goes live on any platform, it goes straight to the website. And there's ads and all that stuff in it, which I think is super dope. It kind of correlates to what URL is doing with the app. They're moving away from the traditional YouTube base and really trying to figure out, all right, how can I take all this content that I have and really fully monetize and really get, the full value of the product without compromise and being censored from YouTube and, getting all the money for the ads and the sponsorships and things of that nature. So I really understood now and like the business aspect behind that model. And I'm really trying to move a little bit. I want to move later on towards that route, but I do want to utilize these platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and get a lot of the personal analytics like the emails and stuff like that, and the names and address and phone numbers, so I can have that on my own database, and my goal is once I get to like 100, emails, 100 phone numbers and names, you're going to see me start to like not be as active as far as with my content, posting it. I'm going to just have it all on my website. That's my end goal, is to bring every supporter that fucks with me straight to my website. So he was really dropping a lot of gems, man. And then one of the things I felt like that's getting really lost in the sauce, because people probably are not going and watching a full in-depth interview. They're seeing only the popular clips. And it's when he starts talking about Jay. And I feel like, Dame, you really fall into this rabbit hole. And I don't know, it seemed like you really wanted to talk about this than I've seen more than a lot of other interviews. But he just talked about how his disappointment in Jay and Biggs, and them, I guess, accusing him of trying to sell the mechanical rights to Reasonable Doubt and a lot of other things, man. And it seems like he has a real bad taste in his mouth, pause, for Jay. He talked about how he still owns the Rockefeller name and that he's going to revamp the Rockefeller, but it's not going to be a music label. It's going to be something totally different. So I don't know how that's going to go. You know what I'm saying? When we think of Rockefeller, we think about Jay-Z, The Rock. You know what I mean? That's Dame is a part of it, but we think about Jay. So I don't know how that's going to go with him creating a whole nother Rockefeller and Jay's not a part of it. You know what I mean? I don't see that going pretty well. But that could be a tactic just to get Jay's attention. He did say he wants to have a conversation with Jay, and he hasn't had one yet. I guess him and Biggs are not on the best terms. So it was real, like, I don't know, man. It's a little frustrating, bro. I just kind of wish platforms would stop asking him about Jay-Z. Like, bro, it seems like it cannot be. It's very few. I like the interview he did with 19 Keys, but there's a very selective platforms where I will see Dame go and they will not ask him about Jay-Z or Rockefeller, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said himself, like, since he left Rockefeller, it's been 20 years. He's done so many things. Like, talk about that. Talk about, the times you worked with Currency, Smoke Dizza. You know what I'm saying? Talk about that transformation, from trying to go back to the music industry, not really working out. What did you do to pivot and get into having your own art gallery and then moving into the rock and roll space? Like, I don't know. There's like so many different things, you can kind of stress in these interviews with Dame, but it seems like the Jay-Z, Rockefeller, what happened? Why'd you do this? And it seems like this shit always gets lost in that, but now it's like the perception is like Dame's still mad, Dame bitter, Dame, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, bro, I'm good. Like, from what I see, the nigga good. The nigga always fresh. You know what I'm saying? I like the sweatsuit he got on. The sweatsuit fly. I see the kicks in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like I just fuck with the way Dame moves, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's somebody I would love to just be in the room and just be a sponge and just take all the information in, you know what I mean? And then come back home and just rewrite my whole business model, rewrite my whole business plan and my blueprint of how I want to reach my goals, but when you see these clips, just don't get blindsided by the clickbait. The title by Jay-Z. Go and watch the full interview. I'm telling you. I'm gonna put it in there. It's 2 hours long. It's a really, really great interview. And it really like it towards like the last 40, 35 minutes of the interview, you can see Dame like kind of relaxed because he got a little bit defensive, in my personal opinion. But you can see him kind of like understand, all right, I get what's going on in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I can see where they coming from. But it's a great dialogue. You know what I mean? Shout out to them. Shout out to Ray Daniels Media, you know what I mean, for doing this. Make sure you guys check out, you know what I mean, their platform, their podcast. Overall, I think it's a really great, informative interview. And I highly recommend, if you're an entrepreneur, you're somebody in the podcast space, or just a content creator, you definitely want to watch this Dame Dash interview. But let me know if you watched it. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if there's any other Dame Dash interviews where they don't ask this nigga about Rockefeller and Jay-Z, but they're more so tapping into the creative aspect in the mind frame of Dame Dash. Let me know what platforms or interviews that I need to check out that I didn't mention or see. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody for checking in. I appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the like, check out the website, DedicatedMediaLLC.com. Subscribe to the email list. It's your boy. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.